So yeah, I was just trying to make a song that showed the kind of new album, I guess, and sort of showed the change from Nights Out to the new records. You know, completely guitar, like played guitars and played drums and nothing programmed. So yeah, it was this song that was supposed to sort of introduce the next chapter of Metronomy. Yeah, I chose Roxanne Clifford because she has this voice, like she sings in a way which is very classic English. Like it sounds like folk music. It's a kind of folk music voice. And so I asked Roxanne because I was looking for the sound of an English woman, you know, like that kind of like that voice. And so she has the perfect voice for that. The song is about like, the idea was that it's about two people who have broken up. And then I guess the guy has come back and he's like, please, can we get back together? I've made a mistake. And the girl allows the guy back in. And so suddenly like there's a shift of, you know, nothing can be kind of even again. Like it's kind of this idea that then suddenly, you know, it's like a flawed relationship because he's afraid to upset her and she becomes demanding about stuff because she's been hurt, I guess. So yeah, it's about a kind of almost, like I was saying, like an almost toxic relationship. So yeah, the look was, you know, it was when we started performing it that people really began to engage, I guess, like in a different way. And I suppose up until that point, we didn't have many songs which were like that. So it was this quite a kind of, in a concert, it became quite a moment. And yeah, I think what happened to the song is it just, people passed it on, and people must have played it at their parties, or they must have played it at kind of special moments because now at concerts, there are just like, that when we perform that song, it becomes this sort of crazy moment, which becomes, you know, the more we perform, the more we tour, like the more exciting that song gets. I guess when the video was released, I feel like the video was very popular and people really enjoyed watching that. And then for me, that was when I started to realize that, oh, okay, this is connecting with people. But I think the thing is that's funny about that song is that it has this life now of its own. Like it has a life that's kind of beyond the band in a way. Like it still finds new people, you know, there are still people who haven't heard it. And I think it's sort of infectious. Like if you see people kind of going crazy to that song, and if you see people singing along, like you want to feel the same way. So you find out what the song is, and you know what I mean? Like it's this kind of this self-perpetuating thing. It's like, I think I was saying, it's contagious. You know, I think people who don't know that song and they see people reacting, they kind of want to feel that way. And so they find the song and they kind of fall in love with it, I guess. I don't understand how it works, but it's cool. I think like it was the kind of inspiration was the idea of being in a house with someone, like with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and them being able to sleep really comfortably and easily, and you being maybe awake because you're worried about something, and about sort of moving around a house whilst trying not to kind of wake up someone. I think that was the idea. It was about this, yeah, like a kind of dream, like a bit of a dreamy kind of world. I guess so, yeah, because I think at the time I was writing that, I was in a relationship. I mean, I'm still in the same relationship, but I was in a relatively new relationship, and I would come back from touring and traveling, and I would just want to like do nothing, and I'd want to like stay in the house and hang out, and my girlfriend always wanted to go and do stuff, and we'd have these kind of silly arguments about yeah, like going out or not going out and this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a sort of, it's not too heavy, that song. It's about sort of silly, small arguments, you know. I guess the song for me, it was interesting when I was writing it. I feel like I saw this potential for it to be really popular, but it was a very difficult song to kind of finish. And I guess the reason why it ended up being kind of why it ended up working was because it was written because I sort of decided that it was about the English Riviera, like it was about this place, and it was this kind of American style take on this very English place. And I feel like that's why it kind of works, and why it's so nice, and kind of people enjoy it. And as for like the best time we played it, like I think there was a time when the album had been released, the English Riviera, and we were touring, and people didn't, you know, we were sort of almost like traveling around the world in front of the album. So like people hadn't necessarily heard it, and you know, they weren't as kind of familiar with it as they are now. But then I think the second time we toured, so like the second time we went to all of these English cities or places like Paris, that was when suddenly people were kind of going crazy for that song, and that's when it became really you know, I think there'd be lots of different occasions that it was really fun to play. Well, it was a song which was written, it was like I'd finished the album and the record label said they wanted another single, and so I kind of wrote it as this idea for a single, and I kind of thought it would be interesting to try and write a song about like a gun, like about a man who's sort of obsessed with a gun. I mean, like, it's not like a violent idea or anything, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more like you imagine like someone who's sort of in the military who never actually like is able to shoot their gun, but they kind of love the idea of it. So it's just kind of a concept, like a weird concept song about that. But it's like, it's cool. It's become this, you know, I think real Metronomy fans seem to really love that song. It's interesting. It's fun. It was kind of interesting, that song, because I wanted to do a track which was like very sequencer heavy and like, you know, electronic, and I was listening to quite a lot of Stevie Wonder, and in particular this song Pastime Paradise. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to make like, it was, the idea of the song was more like an atmosphere than a song, like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess there are songs on the album which are supposed to be very catchy, and there are songs which are supposed to be atmospheric, and I think, yeah, Loving Arm was made to be this kind of a feeling song. So yeah, like this feeling of maybe like a driving song, I guess. I think it was like Chick Corea that was sort of a bit of an inspiration behind that song, and this album of his called My Spanish Heart. And I think I wanted to make a song which was this like quite self-indulgent and quite jazzy and long and like a little journey, you know. So that song was yeah, it was like, I played the drums on that song, and me and Oscar and Gabriel, who used to be in the band, we performed it live, you know. So it's like what you hear is one version. So it was nice to do this kind of jazz, like live kind of feel jazz song. And I think, like, to me, the idea of when you do a concept album, like, you need to have these moments of like indulgence. So yeah, it was this kind of a self-indulgent moment. I mean, I think it was that song was maybe made in a way which was like most similar to the music I made for Nights Out. You know, I had this rhythm that Anna had recorded, this rhythm, and then I built this song around it. And so I guess the idea of that song was to sort of show a connection, like to the old Metronomy, or to the older Metronomy. So yeah, it was like another kind of journey, like a musical journey, but more in a kind of, in a clubby kind of way, I suppose. Although it's not very, like, it's not like a club track, but in that kind of, in that genre, I suppose.